A very good evening to all of you. I am Mahadevan. I am from Tata Consultancy Services, TCS ION. I lead the school education industry practice at TCS ION. I'll be your host for today's webinar. A very interesting subject. This is part of the second part of a three-part series, Design Your Future. Intended to help students from grades 9 to 12 decide on how to look at their future career options, how to structure, how to design, and how to think scientifically. It's a very important decision. It can't be taken in a split second. Most often than not, parents and students, when they come to grade 9 or at the end of grade 8, suddenly they wake up and then say, I need to choose a subject. Which one should I choose? Oh, I got 95 in math, so I think I should be choosing math as a subject. But choosing a career, choosing a subject stream, choosing the line we want to pursue is more than just marks. It's very important to have a passion for it. It's very important to have a love of it. If we spend more time looking at the various kinds of options available and do some scientific approach to the decision making, it will give us a significant head start. In fact, today, almost all the schools in India, at least I can say this with confidence, the leading schools in India all have a career counselor just to help students and parents get their queries answered, get their concerns addressed, and get their future planned. Today, we are going to talk on arts, humanities, and commerce. I don't want to get too much into deep in terms of what kinds of options are there. For that, we have an expert, Parmita Sharma. Ms. Parmita Sharma is from our partner company called iDream Career. iDream Career has reached over 73,000 schools across 9 states, touching 15 million students till date. They track more than 570 different career options available, vocational or professional. And they work with the government, with large corporates, and also some of the large school brands. Not just with school brands or corporates and government in India, they work with UNDP, they work with UNICEF. They have been working for the last few years to really help provide quality career guidance to students. So a lot of you will be eager to watch what is going to unfold today and what Parmita is going to help you all understand. So let me do a quick introduction about Parmita. Parmita is from iDream Careers, the partner company which I just introduced. She is an experienced career counselor and a mentor trainer with a demonstrated history of working in the school education industry. In fact, she brings an eclectic mix of her experience and reading when she counsels her students. She provides a very different perspective, many times something which will open up our minds based on the experience, and not just experience, but also looking at data. As a data scientist, I can in some way call, because she looks into the data of students' aptitude, interest, and passion. She makes her sessions, either it's a one-on-one session or it's a large session like this, very interesting. She has mentored and counseled a large set of students. She works with the Navy schools and also with a large number of CSR projects, the corporate social responsibility projects with multinational companies. Parmita is from Assam, born in Guwahati, and did most of her schooling in Shillong. graduating from St. Anthony's College in Shillong, she did her biotechnology in her master's degree from Tezpur University. She moved to Delhi and she's been a professor teaching BTech and MSc in biotechnology. Subsequently, she's been focusing on counseling students because she felt that that creates a much larger impact, because today's students have a very large variety of options available and a scientific understanding of that is very critical. So she's moved into full-time career counseling and mentor training. So welcome, Parmita. Good evening to you.
Thank you so much, Maha. That was indeed a great introduction to the program.
Thing which I think we should now move to the next topic. There's one thing which in my very first job when I joined as a very young management trainee, the head of sales, who was a graying man with 35 years of experience already, he was looking at me like this, and then I went to him and asked him for some advice. So he said, first take a piece of paper. So I took a piece of paper, and then he said, "Irada kya hai?" You have to answer first that question. What do you want to do? Right? Yeah. But then it's not always that we know when we are in, say, 9th or 10th standard, or even in 11th and 12th standard. So many times, by not necessarily by design, but by default, we just end up taking some subject. And then somewhere halfway through 11th standard or 12th standard, we start wondering what career options are available for me now that I have taken something, but this is not something interesting for me. I'm interested in something else. Can I switch? Are there opportunities? So these are concerns, these are questions in many people's mind, right? Maybe there are some people in the audience also having the same question. So I would now invite you to just explain us what kinds of options are available in case I had not taken a decision and I want to switch, or there are some careers options which independent of whatever I have taken, science or math or commerce and etc. So you could take it, Pamita.
Yeah, thank you so much for that, Mahi. I'm going to now throw some light in the next half an hour or so on what are the career options in the neutral sector. So we will be speaking about neutral careers now, which you can take after choosing any of the three streams, in fact, science, humanities, or commerce. Before I start with the neutral careers, please stick with me till the end of the presentation. Remember what I told you, I'm going to give you 3 bonus tips. Okay, so now let me tell you what are those 3 bonus tips. I will give you 3 wrong reasons to choose a career. I will give you 3 stories for you to understand the moral of it. And I will give you 3 techniques how you can choose your best fit career, right? So wait till the end of the presentation to get those 3 bonus tips. Now I would move on to the careers which are neutral. So you can see in front of your screen, these are few areas where a student can come and join during the graduation or the post graduation from any field the student is taking. So after 10th, what a child has is just 3 pathways: science, arts, or commerce, right? So after the 3 pathways, what are the other options? So we have an entire zone of careers which falls under the neutral career zone. The first and very common would be into the area of mass communication, journalism, advertisement, and media, right? So if this is something which you are looking forward to, you can. If you are artistic, if your communication skills are very good, if you have certain flair for writing, if you are the young blogger who loves blogging, or maybe you have just started off your hobby as a YouTuber, right? And you enjoy taking photographs and taking video. So maybe this is one area that you can look forward to. Do you have an Instagram account and your followers are more than 1,000? I would say definitely there is a mass communicator with somewhere inside you, and if you are skilled and trained in this particular area, you're going to do great for yourself, right? So the other area that is there would be towards law. Law again is a graduate program, but the qualification for doing law is again a graduate. So you are either a BA LLB, a BSc LLB, or you can also be a BCom LLB. So LLB, that is Bachelor's of Law, you can do after choosing any stream. The next would be into hotel management, again, design. If you are very passionate about serving your country and be into the armed forces, this is again a huge area where students from any stream can join in. Of course, the white collar job, you want to be the IS officer, you want to be a civil servant. So civil services is again into a neutral area where a doctor can also go for UPSC exam, an engineer can do it at the same time. Someone who is a BA graduate or humanities graduate can sit for the exam along with the rest, right? So we are going to do a little more research as to what are these programs and how you can go for it. So if I have to talk of mass communication at length, I would like to tell you that you can take mass communication in three different ways. Either you go for a degree, a master's degree or a graduation degree, or you go for a diploma, so which is mostly a postgraduate diploma, or you can go for a certificate program. So for mass communication, there are three types of degree, a diploma, or a certification program. So you can do it in any of the in any form, depending on how you want to use mass communication. I know of students whom I am counseling and they are in their 11th class and in their 12th class, and they are so wonderful in their writing skills. So we do have certain programs called the Young Journalist, how to become a journalist. So there are small programs even in the open media, like the online courses, we call it as MOOCs, okay, mass open online courses. You have certain platforms like Udemy, Coursera, edX. So you can look at certification programs from these agencies. Certification programs are usually short duration. All right. So you can take a certification in filmmaking. You can do a certification in video editing. You can do a certification in photography. If you think that you want to learn more about this technique, after your graduation, you can go for a postgraduate diploma, which will be for a year or more, right? But again, you need something where you are a master's in. So you can go for a master's in mass communication after your graduation, right? The one exam that you can look for is the IIMC exam, which is a national level exam that is there for students to get the PG admission in the IIMCs in India, right? That is something that you can look forward to. Some of the renowned institutes for mass communication are there in front of your screen. St. Xavier's Mumbai again offers a lot of certification program ranging from 6 months to 10 months. So you can look at some of these programs. But mind you, these are all postgraduate certification programs. There are few agencies who do give certification programs even to 11th and 12th students. So keep your eyes open and explore more in this area if there is someone who would like to do something in the media industry within you. All right, Symbiosis, Ferguson's, Kriya University, there are few which are very renowned programs in mass communication. So the graduate level program would be generally called as a BJMC. So they call it Bachelor in Journalism and Mass Communication. It can also be a Bachelor's in Mass Media, all right, BMM. So you can, the terminology might differ based on the university that you're applying. I am based out of Hyderabad, and Osmania Women's College, we have a college called St. Francis, who do absolutely brilliant. The students there do absolutely brilliant when they are doing their mass communication. The moment you enter the campus, you can feel it so artistic, right? So you can go into this area in three different pathways. The next that I am talking about in the neutral field is the area of law. I have been advising students who have done a MBBS degree, and after doing MBBS, the student have moved to law and is a lawyer now who takes up cases in medical legal areas, right? So law is a subject. Again, I am reiterating myself. You can go from any field, from science, arts, or commerce. Sometimes people say that from the humanities background it is a better option, but if you are a student who is very keen on becoming a lawyer and that is the only goal that you have for yourself, prepare for the CLAT exam during your 11th and 12th and get into a integrated 5-year law program, right? Well, I told you before, it can be, it is something which you do after your graduation. So it's 3 plus 3, making it 6. So BA LLB, all right, BCom LLB or BSc LLB. But if you think you are someone who is very passionate about law, you can go for an integrated program for 5 years, and you can choose to take the CLAT exam. And there are other exams also, LSAT and few other university level exam for law. You can choose between giving that. There are almost 6 exams for law that you can take after your 12th class if you are if you're an aspiring lawyer. All right. So when you are a lawyer, where do you work? You either work in the courts, you can work into taxation, you can work in a few, security, basically the national security agencies that we have. You can also work in the corporate sector as a corporate counsel or, the corporate advisor. You can work in real estate and also in the government sector, right? For example, if I talk of me, I am a science graduate. I have done a master's in biotechnology. But when I was teaching in college, I had to do a subject on intellectual property rights, which is more into patents. So most of the scientific discoveries or engineering work, they require to protect their intellectual property that they have invested, lots of time, money in inventing something. So if you're interested in protecting those, then I would say look at the area of patent law. In Hyderabad, you have this university called NELSER, which offers you a PG diploma in short-term courses like patent law, cyber law. So you can look at it as a degree perspective. You can also look at it as a diploma perspective. And also for those students who are looking to diversify later in their life. For example, you have done your MA in political science and you are working with some firm for a long time, and then you want to skill up yourself in doing something more. You can go for a law, maybe, labor law. You can also go for an executive law program which do not have a upper age limit. So you can go for, executive law programs are basically weekend programs or, evening programs. You can get a law degree even if you are working and have a long work area, right? You have long years of work experience. So that's what I told you before. There are a few exams that you need to look at during your 11th and 12th. Some of them are there in front of your screen. Some universities like Indraprasth University, Delhi or Symbiosis, they have their own law exam. So if that is your preferred location, make sure that you do not miss the deadline for those exams and prepare well and clear this exam to get into the law programs of this university or institutions. Right? Their very interesting area, again, in the neutral side is the area of design. Today, there are lots of students who are diversifying into design. May it be fashion design, where you design fabrics. There is something called as even textile design. I remember reading about an article where a fabric was designed in such a way that it does not stick dirt. So you need not wash the fabric, you just shake it and keep it, it is clean, right? We have also seen fabrics which are wrinkle free, so you don't have to iron them. So that is more into, textile design. Product design would be, designing the pen to designing the glass or designing an iron. See, I have two pens in front of me. Both of them have different designs, right? So you can look for product design when, if you have that artistic skills in you, you enjoy drawing, you enjoy creativity, you can be into that. Automobile design, again, student can come into automobile design from the science stream or from the design, from the humanities stream, as also some from the commerce stream as well, right? Jewelry design, interior design. The other very important area is visual communication designer. Okay, how do you design a UX? No, a web page, the UX or the UI designer. A lot of things to do with animations, graphics, making comics, drawing those cartoons. If there is an artist in you and you want to do something differently, at the same time be your own boss based on your own work and skills, design is an area that you can look forward to. Now, if I have to give you an idea of what are the top notch colleges for design and what are those areas where you can do a design course, I would first start with, the top colleges I would say for design would be the NID and the IITs, right? If you want to get into the National Institute of Design, it's a very, very difficult entrance exam that they conduct, right? You have to have the grit right from the ninth class, I would say, and prepare constantly and consistently to learn the basic concept. You have to be very good with your comprehension. You have to be very knowledgeable, creative, and also you should have a different visualization perspective altogether. All right. So they test you on your drawing skill, on your model making skills, on your sketching. So NID has a design aptitude test, which is of 100 marks. So you can look for the NID exam to, give the NID exam to do a UG course, undergraduate course in NID. NID also offers a postgraduate course called GDPD exam, which is a postgraduate diploma. It's a graduate diploma program in design. If you have completed your graduation in any of the streams, still you can apply for this entrance exam, which is called as a GDPD, and do a diploma program after your graduation from the 7 NIDs that we have in India. Next to the NID, we have the NIFT, which is the National Institute for Fashion Technology. Again, they have a very strict entrance procedure, but nevertheless, if it is fashion technology, you have to be in the world of competition and creativity. If that is something that you are looking for, I would suggest you start your preparation right from your 9th class, because it is never too early to start. So there are two types of exams that you will be giving. One is called as a CAT, one is called as a GET. CAT is the Creative Ability Test and GET is the General Ability Test. So you need to clear both the tests and they will have different parts to it, and also there will be a group discussion and a personal interview round. So be prepared and go for the NIFTs if you so desire. There is a design program in few of the IITs, and the way to get into that is through an exam called UCID, right? So UCID exam is again open for students after 12th. The IITs that offer a design program for humanities, from students from humanities or commerce or even sciences, you can look for the UCID exam. You have bachelors in design in IIT Mumbai, IIT Guwahati, IIT Delhi, Jabalpur, and also in Kokrajhar. Kokrajhar is a very new setup, but it's a wonderful setup they had back in the, it's towards the east, northeast, all right? So you can give the UCID exam and get into this IITs. There are certain private institutes which you might look at and sit for their entrance exam if you so desire. Symbiosis, they have a good program. Flame, again, has good programs in design. Your Manipal Institute of Technology, Pune has, so there's two. One is MIT, Manipal Institute of Technology, other is Manipal Design Institute. You have something called as MAHI also, Manipal Academy of Higher Education. You also have NIMS Mumbai. which offers a B-Dash program through their entrance exam called NPET. Okay, so that's it. When you're looking more into certificate-related program, diploma-related program, in front of your screen, you can see certain good names across India. Call it as the Satyajit Ray Film Institute in Kolkata for your cinematography or editing, or may it be the Whistling Wood Institute, which is the Subhash Ghai Institute in Mumbai. Very expensive, but yes, if you have the creativity, you have the money, you can look for getting a certificate or a graduation program from there. NIDs definitely I spoke about. There are other institutes like the Xavier's, or in Noida you have a film institute where you can get short-term, part-time, or full-time courses in advertisement, management, design, video, or filmmaking. Right. So that would be my the input for this subject. I would move on to the next subject, which is one of my favorite. The area is called the liberal arts. Very frankly speaking, liberal arts is not a subject by itself. Liberal arts is a concept. It's a concept which was there in the Western world for a long time. If you look at the history of US, you will find a lot of universities which are liberal arts colleges. They are 4-year liberal arts colleges where students can pick and drop any subject from any areas. The students can have one subject from humanities, can pick up one subject from the natural sciences, and also can have one subject from commerce or math. Right? So that is how you go about. It is a concept. There are few Indian universities which have good liberal arts program in India. The entry route for liberal arts would be the exam that the university conducts on their own. The other international level exam that you might look to give is the SAT exam, the Scholastic Aptitude Test, which can be taken while the child has just completed 11th class and have started with the 12th class. That would be the best time to take the exam. Maybe when the student is doing the 12th class in the month of May, June, or July, the student can take the test. All right. So as I told you before, it is a concept where a student can pick and drop subjects according to their wish and liking, and also according to what they are scoring more. The first 2 years is mostly experimental, where you have this liberty. In the third year, so if I talk about the US concept, in the freshman year and the sophomore year, you may not declare your major subject, right? But in the junior year and the senior year, you will be doing on those subjects where you will be majoring. So there are universities based on your aptitude and how you are scoring, you can get a double major or maybe sometimes even a triple major. Though it's very, very challenging to get a triple major. But yes, a major, a double major is something very doable. For example, if I want to do a major both in psychology and economics, then liberal arts is your subject, right? And you also love biology. So you can have biology as one of your subject. You can have political science as one of your subject. And when you go to a senior year, you may drop one subject and major in maybe just economics or psychology. You can major in just economics or maybe, or maybe psychology and biology together. So those kind of liberty you get. Thus the name liberal arts. You can also have a name called liberal sciences when the chunk of science subjects are more than the art subject. So when you're looking at institutes which offer you a liberal arts program, the best name that comes to our university. So you may look at, Ashoka University has a very strict rule of their entry procedures. They have round 1 interview, round 2 interview, round 3 interview. They have their own entrance test. Plus, as I mentioned before, if SAT is the exam that you have given, you might be exempted by certain university to give their own entrance test. So the other universities that I can talk of is OP Jindal, Symbiosis, your PDPU, that is the Dayanand University in Ahmedabad. You have Shiv Nadar University in Noida, Flame University. You have Ajim Premji in Bangalore. So you can also Christ University Bangalore do have certain option which they give you a little liberal arts kind of a program to pick and drop major according to your wish. Though it might not be a 4-year degree, but the concept is a little liberal. So yes, the exam that you should note is the SAT exam. Okay, and you should be taking the exam when you are in your 12th class. Just started with your 12th class. So after liberal arts, we would come to the next neutral area for those students who love serving people, for those students who have a pleasant smile on their face all the time. All right, so this is into the area of hospitality, all right, or hotel management. So if this is the area that you are looking forward to, you enjoy serving, you are someone who likes to work rather than read. All right, there are so many students who don't enjoy reading and writing, but if the same thing they get to work on, they enjoy that more. So if that is that person and you would like to do something in the field of hotel management, the national level examination after 12th is conducted by the NTA, the National Testing Agency. So the exam is called as NCHM. This opens your door for all the Hotel Management Institute along with your catering technologies, okay, or culinary arts, you can say. So the National Council of Hotel Management takes up this joint entrance exam for IHMs. Right, you can look at this exam and get into the IHMs all across the country depending on your ranks. The other very important would be to look at the state level entrance exam for various institutes. For example, Maharashtra is a very popular hub for people in hospitality and culinary arts. So Maharashtra University has their own entrance exam for hospitality and culinary arts program. University level, if I look at universities like Punjab, Christ University, Indraprasth University, MET Institute of Hotel Management, they have their own entrance exam. Very nice option I would like to share with you. I know all of you, if the moment I tell hotels, you would know Oberoi's, right? So Oberoi's have a educational program called as the STEP program, both for the UG and the PG level, right? Very competitive. If you can get through it, get through the Oberoi STEP program, your education is mostly free of cost, right? Otherwise, it's very, very expensive. So if that is something you're really aspiring to do work with, the hotel industries like Oberoi, the Oberoi STEP program is what I would like you to do more research on. So make a note of it. The other private hotels that they do is the Ecole Hoteliers, Lavasa, Pune. You can look at it. And also institutes like IHM Ahmedabad, they have their own entrance exam. So you can look into this entrance exam during your 11th class or 12th class and take the exam the moment you're done with your 12th class, right? So that would be for the hotel industry. And my very favorite, the armed forces. For those students who are, aspiring to wear the uniform. So you have a whole lot of career options for you in the Indian Army, Indian Air Force, Navy in technical roles. If you're going right after your 12th class, there is an option where you can go from PCM, that is for the male candidates, you can give the NDA exam, clear the NDA exam and all the 5 rounds that come with it, and join any of the armed forces. For those students who would like to go into more, technical route, there is something called as a technical entry scheme, which you can get into. Students who have done their graduation outside, from not from the armed forces, like suppose somebody has done a BTech or someone has done an MBBS, and then you want to join the armed forces in an officer rank, there is an exam called Combined Defense Service exam. So you might take that exam. So if this is your career choice, so I would say please start playing, keep up your health well, be fit and agile to be into this area. There is also short service commissions available in all the three wings, which you can go through by an exam called SSB. Right, so there are various ways that you can go. If you are a psychologist and you want to work in the defense as maybe a recruiting officer, or if people go on war, they have lots of psychological impact. The Navy, for example, they are on sale for a long time, so psychologists play a greater role even in the defense. So if you have done your MBA or MA psychology and you want to get into defense, you can give the SSB exam and get into defense. That's what I would say. And the other thing, for any kind of career related to the three wings, the important website is www.joinindianarmy.gov or joinindiannavy.gov or joinindianairforce.gov. Open up this websites, look for the career options that are there, what are the requirements, and accordingly work to enter this the service sector. All right. The other very popular, but again, very few makes it into that. I'm so happy to see the smiling woman, doing yo there. So is our civil services. When we talk of civil services, it's not just the IAS. So we have lots of, sectors and services under various category. The first three main category would be the Indian Administrative Service, the Indian Foreign Services, and the Indian Police Services, which comes, you can also go through the CRPF route. The others in the government sector would be the railways, which have the maximum revenue generating. At the same time, it has the maximum number of employment there. You can look at the Indian Audit and Account Services. You can, as I talked about the AG office, right? You can look at the ministries of defense, or family, the taxations, the meteorological service. So that there are lots of other categories that are there, and it's in front of your screen right now. So to clear the UPSC exam, you have to clear 4 papers, write an essay, be very good in your English, and choose one optional subject from the subject that you have done. If you're a medical doctor, take up medical sciences. You can be, someone from social sciences, or maybe an agriculturist or a biotechnologist. You can be also a CA and yet give the UPSC exam to be into the civil service, right? This is my very most favorite. I'm rushing a little because I am running short of time, but it was so nice to interact with you and answer your questions. Teaching and MBA are another subjects which are open to all field. So if you think there is an educator in you, a trainer in you, a counselor in you, and you love a particular subject, do a graduation in that, do a B.Ed and get into the school. If you want to be a lecturer or a professor, you do a master's degree in that particular subject, clear the NET exam, the National Eligibility Test, which is conducted both by CSIR, which is the Council of Scientific and Industrial Research. It is also conducted by the UGC, the University Grant Commission. So if you qualify, you can qualify for 2 ways. Either you get a JRF to do your PhD, or you qualify a lecturership. So the moment you qualify for lecturership, you can apply to any state government or a central government university as a as a lecturer. You can also do B.Ed in special education, do programs like MYP, middle year program, or a primary year program, and get into the IB schools and motivate students like you right now. Thank you, Maha. That I'm closing my presentation. I think I have spoken a lot. All right.
So thanks, Paramita. Uh,
So,
um,
Maha, I'll just interrupt you a little. As I promised in the beginning of the session, I'll just take 5 more minutes, okay, to give those bonus tips. All
in
right.
fact, I was
So,
about to ask that only.
yeah. So, thank you so much, viewers, for listening to me and bearing with me for the entire 2 hours. So, if you were there with me since from 4 onwards, I would tell you what I was looking forward to and what are the bonus tips that I would like to give you. All right. The three bonus tips. Number one, I'm going to tell you three wrong reasons to choose a career. Wrong reason number one, never choose a career based on marks. Okay, so you got 96% and your father says that no, you got 96%, take up science. No, marks should not be the only basis to choose career. Okay, wrong reason number two, never choose a career based on a fancy idea. Okay, movie that you have seen, a detective series that you have watched, that should not be the base of choosing career. Wrong reason number three, never choose a career based on money and fame. I think all of you have watched that movie Three Idiots, right? So if you are skilled, money will come behind you. You need not go behind money. So those were the three wrong reasons to choose a career. Now I am going to tell you three stories. Moral of the story is for you to understand. Story number one, Mr. Jumbo. He is a elephant in a circus, right? Mr. Jumbo is getting old and he wants that his son should take his position after his retirement, right? Now, Mr. Jumbo goes to Junior Jumbo and says, I would like you to take my position in the circus, right? So, what is the moral of the story here? So, what occupation or career your father is doing, it is not necessary that you will enjoy doing the same thing. Story number two, there were two friends. One was a quail, the other was a crow. Right? Both of them were chuddy buddies. They studied in the same school, they went to the same college. Then the quail says that I want to make a career in singing. I heard it has lots of good scope. The crow never wanted to miss her friend, right? The crow says, if you are making a career in singing, I should make a career in singing too. So while the quail sings, the crow does ka ka. So what does the crow get? Stones, right? So moral of the story, what your friend chooses may not be right for you. So do not come in peer pressure. Story number three, mother hen tells baby chicken, I so wanted to fly up in the sky and see the blue sky. I wish you could fly like an eagle. Again, will the chick be able to fly like an eagle? Not possible, right? So when you are choosing your career, choose it based on your skill and not about, not to fulfill a dream of your grandfather or your grandmother or maybe your mother, right? So that are the three stories. The moral of it is for you to understand. The last, I was telling that I'll give you three techniques how you can match your career, which is your best fit. Technique number one, do your own research. Explore the different areas that you have in, do shortlisting activity. Learn more about the career options. So you can fall back on the website if you want, or if you want to google it out, just do more research on the careers with their pros and con analysis. Technique number two, do a little sampling. Imagine you are in a buffet and there are lots of food in front of you, right? And you fill your stomach just by eating one stuff, right? And you miss on the taste of the other items. So do not do that. Do a little sampling of what you want to eat, right? So it's like a bowl of soup. If there's a bowl of soup, just take a spoonful. See if it, you like the taste or not. If yes, only then you take a bowlful. So if you want to be a lawyer, go and intern with a lawyer for some time and see what the life of a lawyer is like. If you want to be a doctor, be in a hospital setup for at least 3 days and see, is that the life that you are looking forward to, right? And technique number three is increasing your perspective. Listen to webinars, listen to professional talks, listen to that one senior who has inspired you and has done good for himself, right? So increase your perspective by learning more, listening to professional talks, subscribing for newsletters and materials which are authentic in the area of your choice. So, Maha, that was my 3 bonus tips, and the students who were there till the end, maybe it was helpful. So, over to you, and I close it here. All the best to all of you.
Thanks, Parmita. I think it was a wonderful summary of what you started off on the arts, humanities, and commerce by giving the 3 tips, the tricks, the techniques, right? Through the stories. Very nice, interesting stories. 30-second stories, but with a lot of insight, actually. So thank you, everyone. There are quite a few questions which came up. There are questions on IAS. There are questions on fashion designing. There are questions on entrepreneurship. But I think quite a few of those questions I didn't ask because as and when the questions were coming, you are answering those or you are addressing those. So there are quite a few other questions are also there. So thank you, audience, for the time spent. Hope the time spent was useful. We wish you all a very happy and fulfilling career. Thanks, Parmita. Thank you to everyone. And thank you. Best wishes to all of you. Good day.
My pleasure. Yeah, it was. Thank you to TCS for having me here. Thank you. Good luck to all. Happy evening. Bye-bye.